Welcome back to Finding You, Messages of Wisdom. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about finding your true self. This is really important because your true self is really a very powerful version of you. So imagine you without your hangups and fears and your worries and your concerns about who you are and what you should be doing. When you're connected to your true self, all of these things fall into place effortlessly. You don't have to worry because you know who you are, and you're sure that events and even people in your life cannot change that about you, and that you're safe and powerful and strong and clear, no matter what obstacles come in front of you, no matter what criticism or doubts you receive from others. Because when you are really connected to your true self, you know who you are, you know what you're here to do, and you know how to do it. And there's nothing easier than being you. I also want to talk about why this is so important, because there's only one you, and it's true. You are really unique. You are here for a true purpose, your authentic purpose, your life's purpose, and you're the only one who will do it the way that is needed by the world and that is unique to you. This is true for all of us. So in a sense, we're all unique and special, and we're all different at the same time. And we're all like one great big puzzle, because without each of us, the puzzle would be incomplete. And when you are not being you and you're being somebody else, then we'd have two duplicate puzzle pieces, and that's not very helpful, nor is it very fun. It's also quite stressful to try to be someone you're not. So it's better to just be the true you. However, that can be easier said than done, because over time we forget who we truly are, because we're told stories and fables about who we're supposed to be. Sometimes that comes from our families or our cultures, and sometimes we tell these things to ourselves. And pretty soon we might start to believe that. And then we're being taught to be a bit of this person and a bit of that person, or a bit of some imaginary person that no one can really be. And of course that's stressful and hard, because it's hard to be something you're not or someone you're not. And we're setting ourselves up for failure and unhappiness. So how do we become our true self? Well, it starts with being aware that we're believing these scripts in our head about how we're not good enough as we are, that we have to be more this or less that, or more like so-and-so, or less like this other person. It starts with noticing these dialogues and beliefs, whether they're coming from somebody else or coming from deep inside you. Because when you notice those thoughts and those beliefs that you're living and acting out on, then we can stop and say, is this really true? Do I really need to try to be someone I'm not? So that's the first step, just noticing that we're having these beliefs, or that we're buying into them when we hear them from others. The second step is to question it and to say, what would I do in this situation? Now, this is a really important step because it means you have to have a conversation with yourself. And that may sound kind of weird because there's a social stigma against people talking to themselves. So if you're worried about that, find a quiet space, and you can even whisper to yourself, or you could talk or scream, whatever you like. Or you could just have this conversation with yourself in your mind. But it would go something like this: self, and you could use your name here. What do I really want in this situation? And this step takes some time and thought, because our usual habits of mind would have us answer with the stories we're being told by others, or the stories we have been telling ourselves for years, maybe decades. So the trick here is to allow all those thoughts and beliefs to just float away, because we're going to accept that they're not 100% true. And this is where you get to listen to you, your true self. And you can actually access your true self quite easily by just getting beneath your thoughts and feelings and access that voice that's deep inside of you. It'll be maybe somewhere in your heart, or in your gut, or maybe in your body, or you just have a sense of knowing. And listen to that answer. This is your true self, your inner wisdom, your personal truth. And you'll know you've received the message from your true self because it'll just feel really right in your body. Not in your head, maybe in your head, but more so in your body. You see, our minds can be tricksters and just parrot the beliefs of other people or the things that we have been saying to ourselves for so long. So have a conversation with your true self, your deep self, your wise one. The thing is that your true self is always there to provide guidance for who you are and what you should do. And the more you make time and space for these conversations, the easier and quicker you can have them. The first time you do it, it might take several minutes. So give yourself some time, be patient, and every time you start to get really worried or anxious or your mind starts racing, just relax and let the thoughts and feelings dissipate and get underneath it to your heart and your gut and your body, or your deep sense of knowing. The deeper you go, the deeper you access the answers to these questions, the more likely this is to be your true self. So that's a very simple exercise. It might take some practice. And as you're exploring becoming a more authentic version of yourself, you might also want to consider how others would respond to this. So if you're planning on doing or saying something that might be out of character of the persona you adopted, you might also want to spend some time thinking about how you'll communicate this to others who might be affected by it. It may not be an issue for you right away or even on most decisions, but the ones that do, spend some time thinking about a different way of being and interacting with others, and think about how you might communicate that. If it's very disruptive, you might want to give it a little more thought. Spend some time really feeling into it and seeing if this is really what your heart's desire is, and if it really reflects deeply who you are. There might be some pushback from people initially, or there might be pushback on an ongoing basis, because it can be upsetting to other people when you are being your true self, because it then shows them, reminds them, their opportunity to be their true self. But don't worry about that. You don't need to persuade anybody or teach anybody or get their approval, assuming it won't put you in an unsafe position. Just attend to your own conversation with yourself and your beautiful emergence as your truly authentic and even divine person that you are, if that idea resonates with you. So congratulations for getting the phone number of your true self and opening up a line of communication with the part of you that wants to be seen and heard and expressed in the world, and has a unique contribution that has you written all over it, that contribution that's needed by the whole world, that only you can provide. So thanks for listening to Finding You, Messages of Wisdom. I hope you found this helpful and useful, and next week we will discuss covering your ass. Thank you.